I need to pay attention, because what happened to me could be happening to you right now, or to your daughter, or to your sister, or to that friend who calls you crying at 11 at night and says everything is fine, that she's just tired, that her husband is a good man. My husband said the truck was at the shop. I went to pick it up because he was busy. The mechanic looked at me strange and said, "Ma'am, come here. I found something in the back seat." He handed me a red purse. It wasn't mine. Inside was another woman's ID, lipstick, a gas station employee card, a half-used bottle of personal lubricant, and a black lace thong folded up at the bottom. I called my dad, and he answered with one sentence that changed everything. "Stay right there, sweetheart. I'm going to take care of that son of a bitch. My name is Rachel Ann Whitfield. And this is the story of how I discovered that 7 years of marriage fit inside a red purse. But before I go on, I need to ask you something. If you're watching this video right now, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, leave a like, and tell me in the comments what time you're watching and what city you're in. I read every single comment. Every one of them. And knowing you're out there on the other side listening to me makes all the difference. Because this story I kept locked inside my chest for a long time. And now it needs to come out. Let's go. I'm 30 years old. I was born in Knoxville, Tennessee. I grew up in the East Side, in a simple house with a chain-link fence out back, a clothesline strung between 2 posts, and a blueberry bush my mom planted in 2010. My mom used to say that blueberry bushes are a patient woman's plant, because they take years to produce fruit. But when they do, they give so much you don't know what to do with it all. My mom was like that, patient, generous, quiet in a way that filled the whole house with presence, even when she wasn't saying a word. Her name was Rose. My mom died in 2017, a brain aneurysm, in her sleep. My dad woke up next to her and she was already cold. No warning. No goodbye. No last look like you see in the movies, where someone holds your hand and says something beautiful before they go. Nothing. Just the silence of a body that stopped in the middle of the night while the world kept spinning. My dad never slept on the right side of the bed again. That was her side. He sleeps on the left side to this day, and the right side stays empty, pillow neatly set, like she might come back. My name is Rachel Whitfield. I'm a financial assistant at Horizon Construction Company, downtown Knoxville. I work 8 in the morning to 5:30 in the afternoon. My salary is around $43,000 a year. I spend my days doing accounts payable, accounts receivable, cost spreadsheets, cash flow reports, bank reconciliation. I'm good with numbers. Always have been, since I was a little girl, when my mom would send me to check the grocery receipt. I checked every cent. Never got it wrong. But for 7 years of marriage, I couldn't do the simplest math of my life. 1 husband plus 1 mistress equals 0 respect. The equation was right in front of my face, and I didn't see it. Until the day a mechanic showed me the answer from under the seat of a truck. I'm small, 5'2". Natural curly hair, cut short, in a bob style I got in 2023. I called it my fresh start phase at the time. I walked into my little sister Tara's salon and said, Cut it all off. I want to start over." Tara cut it, looked at me in the mirror and said, "It looks amazing, sis." I smiled. I thought that haircut was the fresh start, without knowing that the real fresh start, the actual real one, was still on its way. I have tan skin, small hands, nails always cut short, no polish, because I bite them when I get anxious. And I have a habit nobody notices from the outside. When I hold back tears, I bite the inside of my cheek. I've done it since I was 8 years old. On the outside, my face stays still. Nobody sees a thing. But on the inside, my cheek is all marked up. Scar on top of scar. The map of every time I swallowed the pain so I wouldn't bother anybody. I didn't have a car. I took the bus to work every day. Route 12, east side to downtown. 42 minutes each way. Every day I knew every pothole on that route, every speed bump, every spot where the bus braked hard and I grabbed my bag tighter. 84 minutes a day on a packed city bus, 420 minutes a week, almost 7 hours a week, 364 hours a year, just on the bus. I did the math, because I do the math on everything, except my husband's lies. Those I never counted. I met Derek in 2016 at a farmer's market in Knoxville, Saturday morning. The sun was already high, that Tennessee summer sun that feels like someone left the oven door open. The smell of kettle corn and grilled sausage, people hollering prices, tomatoes, $2 a pound, fresh peaches, right here, sweetheart. I was there with Tara. We always went to the farmer's market on Saturday. Since Mom died, it became our ritual. Wake up early, get dressed, market. I was at the line for a pulled pork sandwich, and he was behind me. Tall, 6'1", built, broad shoulders. His left arm was darker than his right, the way it gets when you drive with your arm out the window for years. Work boots worn down at the heel, faded jeans with a tear at the knee, a plain white t-shirt, and a smell I couldn't quite place at the time, but that made me turn my head. Diesel. He smelled like diesel. And that day, in that line, in that Saturday summer heat, Diesel smelled like a hard-working man. Like a man who gets up early. Like a man who hauls things. Like a man who provides. Later I found out Diesel is just Diesel, and a hard-working man is not the same thing as an honest man. He started a conversation with the ease of someone who does it all the time. That corner-of-the-mouth smile. That confidence I confuse for security. Hey, is that pulled pork any good? His voice was deep and a little rough, the kind of voice that makes you pay attention even when you don't mean to. I turned, looked at him, felt my face get warm. It's good, but the brisket's better, I said, trying to sound like I wasn't impressed. Like tall men talk to me in food lines every day. He opened this wide smile, white teeth. The same smile I later found out he used to charm everybody. Truckers, mechanics, way station guys, and women, especially women. Then let me get 2 brisket plates, one for me and one for the lady here. Tara, standing right next to me, raised an eyebrow. That eyebrow that said everything without opening her mouth. She nudged me with her elbow. I pretended not to feel it. I laughed. I accepted the sandwich, and along with it, I accepted 7 years of lies wrapped in paper and handed over a farmer's market counter. His name was Derek. Derek James Whitfield. 34 now. 27 when we met. Born and raised in Knoxville, in the Powell area. Never finished high school. Dropped out his junior year to work. Long-haul trucker. Independent freight hauler. Route from Knoxville to Nashville to Atlanta. The truck was a 2016 Kenworth T270 white, in his late father's name, and his personal vehicle was a black 2019 Chevy Silverado. Derek was the kind of man who takes up space, not just physically, but in presence, in voice, in the way he walked into a room and made everybody look. Big guy, beer belly he didn't hide and didn't care about. Permanent 4-day scruff that never grew out or faded, just stayed there. Short buzz cut, slides at home, work boots on the job, and a tattoo on his right forearm that said, "Strength and Honor," in Gothic lettering he got at a shop out of some guy's garage in a suburb outside Knoxville. Strength and honor. He had neither one. But that, I only found out 7 years, 1 son, and 1 red purse later. Derek loved that truck. He talked about the Kenworth the way people talk about a child or a girlfriend. I washed her today. She needs new tires. She handles great on the mountain pass. She. The truck was a she. She had a name, a pronoun, attention, care, tenderness. And me? I was the unpaid mechanic of the household. I cooked, cleaned, did laundry, paid the bills, raised our son, and never got so much as a tune-up of appreciation. When I introduced Derek to my dad, I knew it was going to be rough. My dad is Earl Whitfield. His name is Earl, but everybody calls him Big Earl. 57 years old. Born in a small town in East Tennessee. Came to Knoxville at 16. He owns Earl's Auto Wash on the north side of town. 3 wash bays, 2 employees, Ray and Junior. Open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Brings in around $14,000 a month, built from nothing, with soap, a pressure washer, and sweat. My dad is lean and wiry. Those ropey arms you get from running a pressure washer all day, long. Skin that's seen too much sun, almost like leather now. Thin gray mustache. Brown eyes that go almost black when he's angry. Black for real. Like the iris changes color. I've seen that happen only a few times in my life. And every time I did, something big was about to happen. My dad is a man of few words. He says something once, doesn't repeat it, doesn't explain, doesn't justify. But when he acts once too, and it's final. Like his pressure washer when he points it at something. It cleans everything clean, doesn't leave a trace. The first time Derek came to the car wash, my dad was working on an F-150. Pressure wand in his hand, foam spraying across the concrete. Derek pulled up in the Silverado, stepped out, adjusted his belt, walked over with that wide stride of a man who thinks he owns the world. "Mr. Earl, pleasure to meet you. I'm Derek, Rachel's boyfriend." He stuck out his hand. My dad shut off the wand. The silence that settled when that motor stopped was almost deafening. He looked the Silverado over, slow, top to bottom, like he was reading a diagnostic report. Then he looked at Derek the same way. Top to bottom. "That your truck?" "Yeah." Derek answered with pride, patting the hood like he was tapping a buddy on the shoulder. Engines knocking. Derek's smile flickered. "No, it's not, Mr. Earl. That thing's in perfect shape." My dad tilted his head. The mustache moved in that way I knew. The way it moved before he said something nobody wanted to hear. "It's knockin'. I can hear it from here." He paused. A long, deliberate pause. "And I'm hearing something else, too." Derek frowned. "What's that?" "Dishonesty. That truck's not perfect, and neither are you." The air seemed to leave the whole lot. Ray, who was toweling off a Camry nearby, froze with the cloth in the air. Derek had no response. The hand that had been on the hood lowered slowly. The smile died, and he just stood there, in his work boots and tight t-shirt, looking smaller than he was. My dad turned the wand back on. The water started foaming again. Conversation over. That night at home, my dad called me into the kitchen. He was sitting at the table, coffee in front of him. Mom's mug, the green one with yellow flowers she used every single morning. Dad never ran it through the dishwasher. He washed it by hand, carefully, like it was a piece from a museum. Rachel. "Yeah, Dad." I sat across from him, already knowing what was coming, already building my defense. "That boy smells like a lie." I sighed, crossed my arms, bit the inside of my cheek. "Dad, that's not a thing. Nobody smells like a lie." He lifted his eyes from the mug. Brown eyes, not black yet, but getting there. "Sure it is. Same smell as an engine that's about to blow. You can't hear it, but I feel it." I laughed. A short, nervous laugh. The laugh of someone who wants to end a conversation before it turns into a fight. My dad didn't laugh. He turned the mug in his hand slowly, and when he spoke again, his voice was different. Lower. Heavier. Carrying something he didn't usually carry in front of people. "Baby girl, your mom said something to me before she passed." I stopped laughing. My mom. Rose. Hearing her name in that kitchen, at that hour, in that tone, was like opening a door we kept shut by silent agreement. We didn't say her name casually. We didn't use her as an argument. She was too sacred, too heavy. What did she say, Dad? He swallowed. His jaw shifted. The mustache trembled. She said, "Earl, take care of the girls. And when Rachel messes up, because she will mess up, she's stubborn. Don't you say I told you so. Just fix it." I felt my chest tighten. I bit my cheek so hard I tasted something metallic. "I'm not going to mess up, Dad." He looked at me with those eyes that had known every inch of me since the day I was born. That had watched me take my first steps. That had seen me cry on the first day of school. That had seen me walk across the stage for my accounting certificate. That had seen me walk into the courthouse in white. Eyes that always knew more than they said. "Yeah, you will. But I'll be right here." We got married in 2017, at the courthouse. No reception. Derek didn't want to spend the money. "What do we need a big wedding for, babe? We'll throw a cookout, invite family, that's it." I wanted a real wedding. I wanted a dress. I wanted a 3-tier cake. I wanted to throw the bouquet. I wanted to dance with my dad. But I swallowed it. I bit my cheek and agreed. Because it was easier to give in than to fight. And because I thought giving in was the same as loving someone. It isn't. Giving in is giving in. And loving someone is something else entirely. My dad threw a cookout at the car wash. He closed it on a Sunday, set up folding tables between the wash bays, fired up a grill he made from a split oil drum. 30 people. Coolers full of beer and soda. Music from the radio in the shop office. A simple sheet cake Tara made. Potato salad the neighbor brought. My dad paid for everything. Derek paid for nothing. "I'll square up with you next month, Mr. Earl," Derek said, giving my dad a firm handshake on the way out. The handshake of someone who wants to look trustworthy. My dad shook back, looked him in the eye, said nothing. Just shook and let go. Next month never came. Derek never squared up. My dad never asked, but my dad never forgot. Noah was born in 2019. 7 pounds, 4 ounces. Natural birth. The county hospital. Shared room. Stiff cotton sheets. An air conditioner that barely worked. And a pain I didn't know existed. A pain that tears and builds at the same time. That destroys and creates. That takes everything from you and gives it all back in the form of a wet, screaming baby being lifted by a nurse. Derek was on the road. "Babe, I'm in Atlanta. I'm not going to make it in time. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." His voice distorted over a bad connection. Me gripping the phone with one hand and the bed rail with the other, contracting through another wave of pain while a nurse was saying, "Put that phone down, Mama. Focus." My dad was the one who stayed with me, in the delivery room. In a hospital gown pulled over his work clothes, still spotted with car wax. His hand holding mine. Those calloused, rough hands. Hands that were stained with grease that doesn't wash out anymore. That's just become part of his skin now. Like a working man's tattoo. The hands that ran the pressure wand. That held the hose. That tightened bolts. Those hands held mine while I pushed the most important life I'd ever carry into the world. "Come on, baby girl. One more push. You got it." Noah was born at 2:17 in the morning. He cried loud and strong. The nurse put him on my chest. Wet, warm, wrinkled, eyes shut, fists already balled up, like he came into the world ready to fight. My dad looked at his grandson, brown eyes shining, mustache trembling. And he cried. Big Earl, who I had seen cry exactly twice in my life, at my mother's funeral and in that delivery room, stood there in a hospital gown with my hand still in his, and cried. "Rose," he whispered so low I almost missed it. "Rose, you seeing this?" He was talking to my mother in the delivery room at 2 a.m. telling her the grandson had arrived. Derek showed up 2 days later, holding a yellow toy dump truck wrapped in wrinkled paper with a crooked bow. "For my little trucker," he said, grinning that wide grin, like showing up 2 days late to his son's birth was the most normal thing in the world. I took the toy, looked at it, set it down in the bassinet next to Noah, and bit my cheek. Noah slept with that yellow truck for years. Every night, his chubby little arm wrapped around it, and when he woke up, the first thing he did was push it across the bed. Vroom. Heading to Atlanta, Mama. Vroom. He wanted to be a trucker just like Daddy, and I bit my cheek and smiled, because taking a dream from a child is cruelty, even when the dream is built on imitation. Life married to a long-haul trucker is loneliness. I figured that out in the first few months, but I didn't truly understand it until Noah was born. Derek left every Monday morning, early, 5:30, the sound of the garage door going up, the Silverado starting, the headlights sweeping across the bedroom ceiling, and then silence. A silence that lasted 5 days, sometimes 6, sometimes 7. He'd be back Friday night, sometimes Saturday morning, sometimes Sunday. "Babe, the load got delayed." "Babe, there's a weather situation on the interstate, I'm sitting still." "Babe, truck broke down in Chattanooga, waiting on a part." I'd hear it, say, "Okay, hang up," go back to the silence. Monday through Friday, I was both mom and dad. I was everything. Up at 5:40, quick shower, coffee, dress Noah, fix his hair, pack his backpack, catch the 6:50 bus with him on my lap to the drop-off point. Walk him to Jefferson Elementary, 2 blocks from the stop. Run back to the bus, 42 minutes to downtown. Horizon Construction. 8 hours of spreadsheets, invoices, statements, reconciliation. 5:30, bus back. Pick Noah up from aftercare. Bus again. Home. Dinner. Rice. Beans on a normal night. Scrambled eggs on a tired night. Ground beef when I had the energy. Bath for Noah. Homework when there was some. Brush teeth, pajamas, yellow truck, bed, and then silence. The house empty. I turned the TV on. Any channel. Just for noise. Because a house that's quiet at night, with a child sleeping down the hall and a husband on the road, is frightening in a way nobody understands until they've lived it. It's not fear of a break-in. It's not fear of anything supernatural. It's the fear of realizing you are alone, that your whole life fits inside 4 walls, that the sound of your own breathing is the only living sound in that space, and that a television left on is the closest thing to company you're going to have that night. A trucker's wife learns to sleep with the TV on and her heart tight, and to wake up in the morning like she slept just fine. When Derek came home, it was good. For a few hours, he'd walk in with that big body, smelling like road, dirty bag, scruff thicker than when he left, toss the bag on the floor, pick Noah up and spin him around. Noah would scream with joy. "Daddy, Daddy's home." And that scream made me believe the whole week of loneliness was worth it. That moment of family all together, even if it only lasted a little while, was enough. Derek grilled out on Saturdays in the backyard, at the little brick grill he built himself, crooked grate and all. Beer, music. He'd play with Noah in the grass, push the yellow dump truck along the concrete edging of the garden, make engine sounds with his mouth. Noah would laugh. I'd watch from the kitchen window washing dishes and smile. A tired smile. The smile of someone who needs to believe that this is happiness. At night, in bed, he'd pull me close, his arm heavy across me, warm. "Missed you, babe?" His voice rough near my ear, and I believed it. Because his longing felt real. The weight of his arm felt real. And I needed to believe that someone wanted me, that I wasn't raising a child alone for nothing, that the ring on my finger meant something, that I was seen, that I was chosen. that I was enough. I wasn't. But it took 7 years to accept that. The signs were there the whole time, from the beginning, like cracks in a wall you cover with a picture frame, with fresh paint, with a curtain. The wall is cracking. But if you don't look, if you cover it up, if you pretend, you can keep living there until the day the wall comes down. The cell phone. Derek had 2 phones. One personal, one for work. He explained when I asked. The work phone was always on silent. I never saw it ring. Never saw a message notification. Never saw anything. He'd swapped the SIM card when he went to the bathroom. He thought I didn't notice. I noticed. But pretending not to meant I didn't have to ask. Asking meant fighting. Fighting meant hearing an answer I didn't want to hear. So I chose not to notice. The smell. Sometimes he'd come back from a run smelling like perfume. Not his smell. Not diesel. Not sweat. Perfume. Sweet. Heavy. The kind that clings to fabric and doesn't air out in a truck cab with the window down. "Babe, what is that smell?" I asked him once, trying to sound casual, while my heart pounded so hard I was sure he could hear it. He didn't even blink. I gave a coworker a lift in Chattanooga. She wears strong perfume. He laughed like it was funny, like I was silly for asking. I didn't laugh, but I bit my cheek and swallowed it. The money. Derek's freight runs brought in anywhere between $6,000 and $9,000 a month. He deposited $3,000 into our joint account. "The rest is fuel, tolls, and truck maintenance," he said, like he was explaining that water is wet. $3,000 to $6,000 a month. Just gone. Evaporating. As if money had legs and walked itself out the door. Me, a financial assistant who spent 8 hours a day tracking every dollar of a construction company, never tracked a single dollar of my husband's. Because tracking your husband's money is not the same as tracking a spreadsheet. A spreadsheet doesn't yell. A spreadsheet doesn't sleep on the couch. A spreadsheet doesn't look at you with wounded eyes and say, "You don't trust me?" The truck. Derek started washing the Silverado himself in the driveway, with a bucket and a rag. Before that, he always took it to my dad's car wash on Saturdays. He'd hang around and talk to Ray, have coffee with my dad. Then suddenly he stopped. "I don't want to bother your father," he said when I asked. He didn't want my dad near that truck, because my dad read vehicles the way other people read books. He saw things others didn't, felt things others didn't. And Derek's truck had chapters that couldn't be read. I saw all of those signs, every single one. The phone, the perfume, the money, the truck. I saw them and I bit my cheek and I swallowed it. Because when you're a solo parent Monday through Friday and a wife only on weekends, you don't have the energy to investigate. You don't have the energy to confront. You don't have the energy to tear through a lie and handle the truth that's sitting underneath it. You have just enough energy to survive, to get up, to dress the kid, to catch the bus, to clock in, to do the spreadsheet, to come back, to cook, to put him to sleep, to turn the television on and pretend you're not alone. Surviving is already enough, and surviving doesn't leave room for the truth. Tuesday, November 19th, 2024. The day everything changed, 7:12 in the morning. I was in the kitchen making coffee, still in my pajamas. Noah eating toast with butter at the table, his school backpack hanging off the chair. My phone rang. Derek. "Babe, the Silverado's at Kevin's shop. Transmission issue. I don't have a car. I'm taking the big truck on this run." "Okay." I turned off the burner under the coffee. "When will it be ready?" "This afternoon, but I won't be able to pick it up. I'm out in Cookeville." His voice was normal, calm, the way it always was. No hesitation, no concern. The voice of someone who has lied so often that the lie has become his accent. "Can you grab it for me?" Keys with Kevin. Sure. I hung up, poured the coffee, drank it standing up, like always, got Noah dressed, left the house. Bus, daycare, bus, work. 8 hours of spreadsheets, every number in place, every cent accounted for. Other people's lives organized under my fingers, while mine was falling apart without me knowing it. 5:30. I left the office, but instead of taking the bus home, I took the one going toward the Northwood area. Tara had picked up Noah from aftercare. I'd asked her at lunch. Hey sis, can you get Noah for me today? I need to swing by and pick up Derek's truck. Of course, girl. I got him. Simple as that. I got off at the stop on Miller Avenue. Kevin's Automotive, number 412, small garage, 2 roll-up metal doors, a hydraulic lift in the back with a silver sedan up on it. Concrete floor stained black with oil, the kind of permanent map that a car shop prints into the floor after years of work. Parts stacked in one corner, tires leaning against the wall. A workbench with tools organized by size, wrenches, sockets, pliers, and that smell. Grease, burnt oil, hot metal, solvent. The smell of a shop is like no other place on earth. It's the smell of something opened up, something taken apart, something someone is trying to fix. That day, what got opened up and taken apart wasn't an engine. It was my life. Kevin was under a gray Honda Civic. I could see his legs sticking out, the blue coverall pants stained at the knees, black work boots. I heard the ratchet working against metal. It stopped. He slid out slowly on his creeper, that little wheeled board that looks like a mechanic's skateboard. He stood up. Kevin Lewis, 44 years old, owner of the shop, specialty in transmission work and pickup trucks, longtime customer of my dad's car wash. The two of them had known each other for 15 years. Quiet man, serious, permanent blue coveralls, hands that are never quite clean, grease worked into the lines of his palms, under the nails, in the creases of his knuckles, shop rag tucked over one shoulder. The kind of mechanic who looks at a vehicle and already knows what's wrong, hears an engine and already knows the problem. That day, he looked at me and already knew what he was about to cause. Hey, Rachel. Hey, Kevin. Here to pick up Derek's truck. He wiped his hand on the rag, slow, worked it between each finger, one at a time, like he was buying himself time, like he was choosing his words. He looked at me, and I saw it. Saw something in his expression that wasn't normal. It wasn't the look of a mechanic about to talk about transmission lines and fluid changes. It was a different look. A look that was already apologizing before he said a word. Yeah. Silverado's ready. Transmission's all set. He paused and swallowed. But come back here with me for a second. My stomach dropped. Before my mind understood, my body already knew. The body knows before the mind does. The body feels danger before the brain has processed it. It's instinct. It's ancient. It's the oldest thing inside us. And mine, in that moment, screamed. Screamed without sound. Screamed from inside. Screamed through hands that started sweating, a heart that sped up, a cheek I bit down on automatically. I followed him. He walked to the back of the shop, past the Civic, past the sedan on the lift, past the workbench, and all the way to the rear wall. Parked backed in, flush against it, was Derek's black Silverado, the truck I helped finance, the truck that was in my name, the truck where my son sat in the back seat with his yellow dump truck in his lap, the truck where my husband was taking another woman. Kevin opened the passenger door, bent down, that big frame folding into that tight space between the seat and the door, his calloused hand reaching up under the seat, and pulled out a shop rag. One of those gray utility cloths mechanics used to wipe windshields. The rag was covering something. Under it was a red purse. Patent leather. Feminine. Not mine. Kevin set the purse on the hood of the Silverado. Slowly. Carefully. Like it was a bomb that might go off any second. And it was. Not gunpowder. Truth. And truth, when it explodes, does more damage than any explosive. I found this when I was getting into the transmission. It was shoved under the seat, covered with that rag. He said it looking at the purse, not at me. Like meeting my eyes in that moment would be too much. I didn't want to get involved, Rachel. But I've known your dad for 15 years. You're his daughter. And I wasn't about to hand this back to Derek without you knowing. I looked at the red purse. Shiny. Cheap patent leather that reflected the fluorescent light of the shop. Gold tone clasp. Short strap. The kind of purse you pick up at a flea market or a discount store for $30 or $40. The kind a young woman buys because she likes the color, because it matches her nails, because it catches the eye. And a smell. A smell coming from inside the purse, even with it closed. Sweet, heavy perfume. The same perfume I'd smelled on Derek when he came back from his runs. "Did you open it?" I asked. The voice that came out was calm. Too calm. The calm that comes when the body goes into shock and turns off the emotion switch so the rest of you can function. The calm of someone standing in the middle of a fire who is still looking for the exit. "No," Kevin said, rubbing his hand on the rag again. "But I looked in the top, and you're going to want to open it." I opened it on the hood of the Silverado, in the shop, with Kevin standing next to me, with the sound of a ratchet from the bay next door where his helper was working on someone else's car, completely unaware, with the smell of grease, with the fluorescent light flickering, that white light that makes everything look more real, more raw, more painful. I opened the gold clasp, and I opened 7 years of lies along with it. Inside the purse was a state-issued ID, Brittany Nicole Harmon. Date of birth March 15, 2001. From Knoxville, Tennessee. The photo. A young woman. Straight dark hair, narrow face, 23 years old. 23. I was 30, 7 years older. 7 years more wrinkles she didn't have. 7 years more under-eye circles she didn't know. 7 years of bitten cheek she'd never had to bite. A lipstick, burgundy, Mary Kay, used. The tip worn down in the shape of someone else's mouth. $63 in cash. Crumpled bills. A Shell gas station employee card with a fuel discount. A sealed individual tampon. A bottle of personal lubricant. KY gel, travel size, half used. The cap pressed down, closed in a hurry. And at the bottom of the purse, folded with care, like it was something worth keeping, like it had been placed there with intention, a black lace thong. I held the ID, looked at the photo. Brittany Nicole Harmon, 23 years old, straight dark hair, pretty, young. Another woman's identity inside my husband's truck, along with lubricant and underwear, under the passenger seat, covered with a shop rag. Hidden, but not hidden enough. It never is. The lie always surfaces eventually, in a strand of hair, in a text message, in a smell, or in a red patent leather purse under the seat of a black Silverado in an auto shop in the Northwood area. I stood there with the ID in my right hand, the purse open in front of me, the contents spread across the hood like evidence at a crime scene. And it was a crime, not criminal code, but in the code that should matter more, the code of trust, of family, of looking someone in the eye and saying, "I love you," knowing it's a lie. Kevin stood quiet, looking at the floor, his hands in the pockets of his coveralls, shoulders curved slightly inward, like he was carrying shame on behalf of someone who wasn't him. "Rachel, if you need a witness, I'll give a statement. Where I found it, how I found it. I'm your dad's friend, and your dad would want me to do the right thing. Thank you, Kevin." My voice came out like a thread, barely air. "Do you want me to call your dad?" "No," I said. I put the ID back in the purse, closed the clasp, slow as I'd opened it. "I'll call him." I sat down in the driver's seat of the Silverado, the same seat where Derek sat, the same steering wheel his hands gripped, the same space where he drove, listening to music, singing along, arm hanging out the window, going and coming from the life he had with me to the life he had with her. The same truck where Brittany's ID, lubricant, and underwear sat stored 50 centimeters from my legs every time I rode along. 50 centimeters from my son. I could have found that purse at any moment. A hard brake. Something rolling off the seat. One of Noah's toys sliding under. All it would have taken was to look down and reach under. Just that. Look and reach. But I never looked, because you don't look under the seat when you trust. You look forward, through the windshield, down the road, trusting that the driver knows the way, that the driver is honest, that the driver only has one passenger. I picked up my phone, hand trembling, face hot, cheek bitten so hard I could feel the swelling inside. I found my dad's contact, hit call, 2 rings. Baby girl, his voice, deep, steady, immediate. My dad always answered by the second ring, always, like his phone lived in his hand waiting for me to call. Dad. Silence, a beat. He heard everything in that one word, the tone, the breathing, the tremor. My dad read voices like he read engines. He didn't need much information. Talk to me. Derek's truck was at Kevin's shop. I came to pick it up. Kevin found a purse under the seat, a woman's purse. I'm looking at it right now. I swallowed. The saliva went down like sandpaper. Someone else's ID, Dad. Lubricant. Underwear. Silence. 3 seconds. 3 seconds that felt like 3 hours. I heard my dad breathe. One long, slow, heavy breath. The kind I recognized. The kind that came before the eyes went dark. The kind that came before the storm. The kind that came 7 years earlier when he'd shut off his pressure wand the first time Derek walked onto his lot and said that boy smelled like a lie. Then he said one sentence. Stay right there, sweetheart. I'm gonna take care of that son of a bitch. He hung up. No follow-up questions. No asking for details. No, are you sure? Or, let's all calm down and talk. Nothing. One sentence. One instruction. And he hung up. Because that's how my dad was. He said it once. He acted once. And it was final. I sat in the Silverado with the phone in my hand, the screen dark, my face reflected back at me in the black glass. And that reflection showed me 7 years. 7 years of a farmer's market food line. 7 years of city buses. 7 years of television left on. 7 years of bitten cheek. 7 years of, I missed you, babe. 7 years of believing. And now, a red patent leather purse. I cried there in the Silverado, in the shop, with the smell of grease and oil and sweet perfume and lies. I cried until the swelling in my cheek softened. I cried until I was empty. And when I was empty, something happened. Something I didn't expect. In the place where the pain had been, in the space the crying had opened inside me, something else was born. Anger. Clean, cold, exact anger. The anger of a woman who works with numbers, who knows that 1 + 1 is 2, and will not accept being told it's 3. In that anger, I knew. It's over. What my dad did in the 4 hours that followed, I pieced together later, piece by piece, from what he told me, from what Ray told me, from what Tara told me, and from what Derek himself admitted later in court, when there was no lie left big enough to fit in his mouth. 5:48 p.m. My dad closed Earl's auto wash, in the middle of the afternoon, with 3 cars waiting in line. Ray, close everything up. I have somewhere to be. Ray put down his towel and looked at the boss. 9 years working together. 9 years watching Big Earl open at 7 a.m. and close at 6 p.m. every day, no exceptions. Rain, shine, holidays. Ray had never seen Earl close mid-afternoon, not once. What do I tell the people waiting? Apologize and give them their money back. I have something to take care of." My dad was already untying his apron, already grabbing the keys to his truck, already heading for the gate. "Everything all right, boss?" Ray's voice was the voice of someone who asks a question, while already knowing the answer isn't going to be good. My dad stopped, turned, looked at Ray with eyes that had already started going dark. "No, but it will be. 5:55. My dad called Tara directly. No preamble. "Tara, honey, go get Noah from Rachel's and take him to your place. Right now." Tara, on the other end of the line, must have heard what I'd heard in the phone call minutes earlier. The temperature of my dad's voice, the density of it, the weight. "Dad, what's... Right now, Tara." "Okay." Tara didn't ask anything else. Because in our family, when Dad spoke in that tone, you didn't ask. You did. And you understood later. 6:10. My dad came by Kevin's shop. He walked in, and I was still sitting in the Silverado with the purse in my lap, looking at Brittany's ID for the 12th time. Like looking again would change what was written there. Like the name would disappear. Like the photo would blur. Like the birth year would shift forward. It didn't change. Brittany Nicole Harmon, 2001. 23 years old. Every time I looked, same truth. Motionless. My dad opened the passenger door. The hinge creaked. He smelled like the car wash, wax and soap and clean water. He sat down in the passenger seat, next to me, in the same seat where the purse had been kept, the two of us side by side, me with the red purse in my lap, him with his hands on his knees, the gray mustache, the eyes already dark. He didn't hug me. Didn't say, "It's okay." Didn't say, "Everything will be fine." My dad was not those things. My dad was action. Concrete. Pressure wand and wrench. He looked at the purse. Held out his hand. I gave it to him. He opened it without rushing, with the same methodical calm he used to inspect an engine. Picked up the ID. Read it. Brittany Nicole Harmon, 2001, 23. His voice was flat. No visible emotion. But I knew that voice. It was the voice that came before the eruption. The eye of it. Silence. He picked up the gas station discount card. Shell employee card. Picked up the lubricant, didn't touch it. Looked at the thong, didn't touch it. As if touching them would contaminate him with something that had no cure. He set the ID back in the purse, closed the clasp, and spoke in the voice of someone who has already decided everything. "Baby girl, this purse is going to stay here, locked in Kevin's safe. Nobody touches it." "Dad, what are you gonna do?" He looked at me sideways, eyes completely black, and I saw something in his face I rarely saw. Absolute certainty. The certainty of a man who had already built the plan in his head on the drive from the car wash to the shop, who had already mapped every step. "I'm going to do what your mama asked me to do. Fix it." He got out of the Silverado and walked over to Kevin. Two men who'd known each other for 15 years. Two men who didn't need many words. "Kevin, lock the purse in the safe. Nobody touches it. If Derek calls asking about the truck, you tell him it's ready and his wife already picked it up." "Done, Earl. And if he asks about any bag or anything left in the truck?" "I don't know what you're talking about." "That's right." My dad walked out to his truck. The motor turned over with a deep rumble I'd known since childhood. The sound it made when he was going somewhere to handle something. And that night, that rumble moved through Knoxville like a quiet thunderstorm. My dad didn't go after Derek. Didn't go to the gas station looking for Brittany. Didn't call Derek screaming. Didn't post anything online. Didn't make a scene. Didn't yell. Didn't cry. Didn't break anything. My dad owned a car wash. He removed dirt, mud, dust, road grime. And when the grime was too deep for the regular hose, he used the pressure washer, the one that runs at over 2,000 psi, that strips paint, that takes concrete clean, that removes what looks impossible to remove. His plan was the pressure washer. 6:30 p.m. First call. Robert Bobby Hargrove, State Bar of Tennessee, number 47,091. Attorney. My dad's neighbor for 20 years. Lived 3 houses down, same street. Washed his car at Earl's every Saturday, never charged. 20 years without ever taking a dime. Neighbors are neighbors, Bobby. Keep your wallet. And Bobby kept his wallet, and kept the gratitude too. The kind of gratitude my dad knew one day he was going to need. Bobby, I need you. Tomorrow morning. Talk to me, Earl. Bobby's voice was calm, professional, but the after-hours call, the tone of my dad's voice, all of it signaled that this was not about a vehicle. Divorce petition. My daughter. Cause of action. Adultery. I've got proof. What kind of proof? Woman's purse. ID, underwear, personal lubricant. Found under the passenger seat of his truck by the mechanic during repairs. Truck registered in my daughter's name. Silence. Bobby processing. I imagine him in his living room with a law book on his lap, taking his glasses off slowly when he heard that. Where's the purse? Locked in the shop owner's safe. Anything else? More by tomorrow. Earl, for a fault-based case you need solid documentation. That purse is strong, but the more you have the better. You'll have it. 7 p.m. My dad drove to the Shell station on Route 62, heading out of Knoxville toward Cookeville. He parked his truck in a side space, away from the pumps, got out, walked into the convenience store, moved slowly, looked at the shelves, coffee, chips, gum, looked at the employees behind the counter, and there she was, behind the register. A young woman, straight dark hair, long red nails, strong lipstick, name tag on her Shell uniform. Brittany. My dad didn't speak to her, didn't look twice, didn't show anything. He bought a coffee, a packaged muffin, paid cash, exact change, thanked her, left. But before leaving, he walked past the hallway leading to the restrooms. On the employee bulletin board, next to the fire extinguisher and the schedule grid, was the staff shift chart. Brittany Harmon. Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. My dad entered it in his phone, walked out, got in his truck, drove away with that information stored like ammunition. 7:30. Next stop, Tommy Caldwell's house. Thomas Caldwell, 50 years old. Retired private investigator, current Earl's Auto Wash customer. Brought in his blue Ford Focus every Wednesday. Always on time. Always with a newspaper under his arm. Always with the look of a man who observes everything and comments on nothing. Because a PI, even a retired one, never really stops working. My dad rang the bell. Tommy opened it. Earl, at this hour? Tommy, I need a job done. Tommy opened the door all the way. My dad came in, sat in the living room and laid it out. No emotion, no drama, the way you place a service order at a shop counter. My son-in-law Derek Whitfield, long-haul trucker, Knoxville to Nashville to Atlanta route. 2016 Kenworth T270, white. He's been cheating on my daughter with a woman named Brittany Harmon, 23 years old, works at the Shell on Route 62. Shift is 2 to 10. I need photos, video if possible. Him with her. At the station, in the truck cab, at her place, wherever. I need dates, times, locations, everything documented. Tommy listened without interrupting. When my dad finished, he asked one question. How much time do I have? 1 week. 2,000. My dad pulled out his wallet, counted out 1,000 in hundreds, set it on the coffee table. Half up front, half on delivery. I'll handle it, Earl. Your son-in-law won't know I exist. I know. That's why I came to you. Tommy worked 5 days. Quiet, professional. A compact camera, a pair of hunting binoculars, and a rented silver Toyota Corolla that blended into any gas station parking lot without drawing a second look. And the results were devastating. Tuesday, November 19th. The same day I found the purse. 8 p.m. Derek, who told me he was stuck in Cookville, pulled into the Shell on Route 62, parked the Kenworth on the side lot, walked into the store, stayed 40 minutes. Coffee, conversation, laughing, leaning on the counter talking to Brittany like a man talking to his girlfriend. Easy, unhurried, unafraid. Because to him, this was routine. Routine like a freight run, like fueling up, like the lie. After 40 minutes, the two of them walked out the back of the store, through the employee door, to the rear parking area. Dark. No cameras, no traffic. Just parked rigs and silence. They got into the cab of the Kenworth. The door closed. The curtain across the sleeper berth was pulled. An hour and 10 minutes later, they got out. Her smoothing her hair with both hands, that automatic gesture of a woman who just did what she did. Him lighting a cigarette, leaning against the rear tire with the ease of a man who just had a cup of coffee. Tommy photographed everything, him opening the cab door for her, both of them climbing in, both of them coming out, her fixing her hair, him smoking. Date and time stamped in the corner of every shot. Thursday, November 21st. Same situation. Station, store, truck. 58 minutes this time. Same photos, same routine, same complete lack of shame. Saturday, November 23rd. Derek went to Brittany's house. Oak Ridge Road, over in the Fountain City area. Small house, low fence, green iron gate. He parked the Silverado out front and walked in. Stayed 3 hours. Saturday afternoon. The same Saturday afternoon, he told me he was at a shop looking at a part for the truck. At the shop. 3 hours on a Saturday afternoon. Tommy photographed him going in, photographed him coming out, and photographed Brittany standing in the window in her underwear, waving goodbye as he started the Silverado. Total report. 47 photographs, 3 short videos, times, addresses, license plates, everything organized, cataloged, irrefutable. Tommy delivered it on a small silver flash drive, the size of a thumb, but carrying enough weight to bring down a 7-year marriage. Earl, your son-in-law is an amateur, doesn't even try to hide it, parks the Silverado right in front of the woman's house, goes in the front door, comes out the front door, doesn't even glance around, amateur and sloppy. My dad slipped the drive into his shirt pocket. Dangerous combination. More dangerous than that. A father-in-law who runs a car wash and has a PI on speed dial. My dad didn't laugh, but the mustache moved in a way that could have been a grin or could have been contained fury. With Big Earl, you never knew for certain. While Tommy was working those 5 days, my dad was doing something else in parallel. Because Earl Whitfield didn't do one thing at a time. He ran multiple operations at once, the way a car wash runs. While one car gets rinsed, another gets soaped, another gets dried. Efficiency. Method. No wasted time. He called Danny. Danny Orozco, real estate agent, car wash customer. Brought in his silver Camry every Monday, always smelling like that new car air freshener agents use to impress clients. Danny, I need a house, 2 bedrooms, my neighborhood or close by, rent up to $1,200. I've got one on Maple Street, 2 beds, living room, kitchen, backyard, $1,100 a month, vacant, move-in ready. Put it in my daughter's name, Rachel Ann Whitfield. When? Right now. My dad paid 3 months' rent up front, $3,300. His money, from the car wash, from $35 wash jobs. $3,300 was 94 cars washed, soaped, rinsed, dried, waxed, vacuumed, and air freshened. 94 customers served, 94 times holding a pressure wand in the sun with soap on his arms, to put a new roof over his daughter's head. Then he called the furniture store on the boulevard. Bought a queen bed with mattress, a twin bed with mattress for Noah, a refrigerator used, from Ray who was selling his old one for $300, a 4-burner gas stove, a kitchen table with 4 chairs, a 2-door wardrobe. Total $4,200. He put it on a payment plan. 10 months. When I found out about all of this, when Tara told me, when I saw the house, when I saw the furniture, I called my dad. Dad, you didn't have to do all of that. Yes, I did. His voice, simple, direct, no room for discussion. Your mama asked me to. Your mama, Rose Whitfield, who died in her sleep in 2017, who never saw any of this, who never knew about Derek, about Brittany, about the purse, but who left a sentence, an instruction, a request, from someone who knew she was leaving and needed to put things in the right place before she did. Take care of the girls, and when Rachel messes up, because she will mess up, she's stubborn. Don't you say I told you so, just fix it. My dad never said, I told you so, not once. In 7 years. 7 years of silence. 7 years of watching. 7 years of holding that pressure wand with the motor off, waiting for the right moment to turn it on. And when the moment came, he turned it on. And he washed everything clean. With an attorney, with a PI, with a new house, with furniture, with keys, with a red patent leather purse on a car wash counter, and with one sentence on the phone. Stay right there, sweetheart. I'm gonna take care of that son of a bitch. And he did. Derek, during that week, acted like nothing had happened. He called me on Wednesday. Babe, you good? How's Noah? Normal, relaxed, the voice of always, the lie of always. On Friday, he sent me a text. Be home tomorrow morning. Miss you. Red heart emoji, kissing face. I read the message, looked at the red heart emoji, and bit my cheek so hard it bled. Saturday, November 30th, 2024. 11 days after the purse. Everything ready. My dad picked me up at 8 a.m. in his truck. I had 2 bags packed. One mine, clothes, documents, the framed photo of my mom that lived on my nightstand. One for Noah. Clothes, school supplies, the yellow dump truck. 2 bags. 7 years of marriage fit in 2 bags. The whole house, the furniture, the appliances, the dishes, the towels. None of that was mine. It was rented or Derek's or belonged to the life I was walking away from. Noah had been at Tara's since the night before. My dad got out of the truck, put the bags in the bed, and looked at me. I was standing on the sidewalk in front of the house on Timber Creek Drive, number 124. The house where I lived for 7 years, where Noah took his first steps, where the blueberry bush my mom gave us was out in the back, loaded with new growth, almost ready to bloom. And I was leaving it. Baby girl, bags are going to the new place. Tara's already there with Noah setting up his room. New place? I looked at my dad, confused, because until that moment I didn't know. Maple Street, 2 bedrooms, backyard. There's a bed, a fridge, a stove in there already. Noah already picked his room, the one that faces the yard. I opened my mouth, closed it, opened it again. The words didn't come. My eyes burned. The cheek I'd bitten all week finally got a break, because I couldn't hold it. I cried there on the sidewalk in the morning sun, with the Tennessee heat on my face, tears hitting the concrete. My dad didn't hug me. He was not a hugger. But he stood there next to me on the sidewalk, steady, present, unhurried, like the blueberry bush, solid and waiting. When I stopped crying, he asked, "What about Derek? What are you going to do?" "I'm going to handle Derek today." I wiped my face with my sleeve, breathed deep, and said the most important thing I said that entire week. More important than any spreadsheet. More important than any calculation. "Dad, I want to be there." He looked at me, measuring, searching my face for the tremor, the doubt, the flinching. He didn't find any. You sure? I'm sure. My dad nodded once. Short, final. Then let's go. He picked up his phone, dialed Derek. I was standing right there listening, my heart pounding in my ears. Derek, it's Earl. Hey, Mr. Earl. The surprise in Derek's voice was real. My dad had never called him in 7 years. Never. Their whole relationship was silent tolerance, Sunday lunch hellos, brief handshakes. My dad never called. Come by the car wash. I need to talk to you. Right now? I'm kind of in the middle of something. It's about the Silverado. The Silverado? Did something happen? Yeah, come now. He hung up. 9:20 a.m. Derek pulled up to Earl's auto wash in slides, cargo shorts, a faded black t-shirt, 4-day scruff, buzz cut. He arrived in a rideshare. No Silverado. He came in, walked through the empty bays. Saturday morning, and the bays were empty. No cars, no customers, no Ray, no Junior. My dad had closed the car wash. Nobody was working that Saturday. Nobody was washing cars. Because what was getting washed that day wasn't a vehicle. Derek walked into the back office. That small room with a laminate counter, plastic chairs, a parts store calendar on the wall, a photo of my mom on the shelf, and a coffee maker that stayed on all day. And he saw my dad leaned against the back wall, arms crossed, eyes dark. Saw me, sitting in the chair by the counter, looking at him. Not crying, not biting my cheek, not looking away. Saw Bobby Hargrove, in a blue button-down and slacks, dress shoes, leather briefcase in hand. The attorney. A lawyer in a car wash at 9:30 on a Saturday morning is not a normal thing, and Derek knew that. And he saw the purse, the red patent leather purse, sitting on the laminate counter, open. Contents laid out. Brittany's ID, lipstick, cash, shell card, lubricant, thong. All of it there, open, exposed, like the innards of something split open on a table. The reddish color of his face drained away. I watched it happen in real time. Saw the color leave, saw his eyes go wide, saw his mouth open, and saw the exact moment he understood. No explanation was needed. No introduction was required. The purse said everything. The purse was screaming. The purse was the evidence, the trial, and the verdict. All of it, all at once, on a laminate counter between a coffee maker and a photo of my mom. And not a sound came out of his mouth. My dad stayed against the wall. Still. Arms crossed so tight the wiry muscles of his forearms stood out beneath the weathered skin. The gray mustache wasn't moving. The eyes, black, completely black, studied Derek the way a mechanic studies a condemned engine. No visible anger. No hurry. With the cold certainty of someone who already knows the diagnosis. Sit down. Derek stood, eyes locked on the purse, hands going into his pockets, then out, then back in. Quiet, the big body that always owned the room looking smaller, contracted, like a dog caught doing something wrong. Sit down. The word hit the air like a ratchet on metal. Derek sat. The plastic chair creaked under him, and the creak was the loudest sound in that office. My dad unpeeled from the wall slowly, put his hands in his pockets, walked 2 steps toward Derek and stopped, stood over him, looking down at him. The same look from 7 years ago, the same look from the very first time, but now carrying 7 years of silence inside it. Derek, 7 years ago, when you first came here, I told you that you smelled like a lie. Do you remember that? Derek swallowed. Jaw shifted. Didn't answer. My daughter didn't believe me. She married you, had a son with you, worked, paid the bills, ran the house, raised Noah on her own Monday through Friday while you were on the road. My dad made air quotes with his calloused fingers. Air quotes of a man who knows that on the road meant something entirely different. and I kept my mouth shut. 7 years. Quiet. Because my wife asked me to let Rachel learn on her own. Silence. Bobby, leaning against the counter with his briefcase resting on it, watched. Professional. Neutral. But I saw a muscle flex in his jaw. But my wife never asked me to let my daughter be humiliated. My dad picked up the purse, opened it with the same hands that opened engine hoods, with the same precision. Pulled out the ID. Held it between his thumb and forefinger. Turned it so Derek could see the photo. Brittany Nicole Harmon, 23 years old, Shell gas station employee on Route 62, works 2 to 10. Derek went white, literally white. The road tan went gray. The hands that had been resting on his knees started to tremble. A fine tremor, nearly invisible. But I saw it. My dad set the ID on the counter, pulled out the lubricant, set it next to it, pulled out the thong, set it next to that. 3 items lined up on the laminate counter like exhibits in a courtroom, which is exactly what they were. This was under the passenger seat of my daughter's truck, in the vehicle my daughter drives, in the vehicle where my grandson sits. My dad repeated the words, my grandson. And in those words, in that my grandson, his voice broke, for the first time. One tiny fracture in the fortress. Because my dad could handle a lot. He could endure disrespect toward his son-in-law. He could endure betrayal against his daughter. But the image of Noah in the back seat of that Silverado, 50 centimeters from a purse holding another woman's underwear and lubricant. That was too much. Even for Earl Whitfield. There's more. My dad placed the flash drive on the counter. Small, silver, next to the ID, next to the lubricant, next to the thong. The drive looked insignificant, tiny. But what was inside was a nuclear bomb. 47 photos, 3 videos, you and Brittany, the truck, her house, the station. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. At least 8 months back. Documented. Derek looked at the drive and I saw it in his eyes. Saw with a clarity that hurt the exact moment he understood there was no exit. No lie big enough. No excuse that could survive that. No, baby, let me explain. The flash drive was the end of the line. The last stop. The final destination. Mr. Earl, I'm not done. My dad stepped closer to Derek. Close enough that Derek would have to tilt his face up to meet his eyes. And he did. And he found those black eyes looking down at him. I wash cars for a living, Derek. I remove dirt, road grime, mud. And when the grime is too deep for the regular hose, I use the pressure washer. The one that takes everything off. A long, calculated pause. The whole office suspended in that silence. You're the car that can't be cleaned. Bobby stepped forward, opened his leather briefcase, pulled out a stapled document. 3 pages. Official header, bar seal in the upper corner. Mr. Whitfield, this is a petition for contested divorce. Grounds, marital fault, adultery, documented by physical evidence and photographic record. Request for sole custody of minor child, Noah James Whitfield. Child support at 30% of gross income, and division of marital assets. Bobby's voice was technical, precise, no emotion. The voice of someone who has done this dozens of times. The voice that knows that emotion at this moment only gets in the way. What works here is the law, the document, the official paper. Derek looked at the document, hands trembling so hard he had to press it against his knee to hold it still. His eyes moved over the words without landing on any of them, until one word jumped out. Assets. He said it out loud, cracked and hoarse. We don't have... The Silverado, my dad cut in, is in Rachel's name. She financed it. Payments came out of her account. It stays with her. Derek's mouth tightened. The Kenworth is in your late father's name. That stays out of the split. But the joint checking account doesn't. And the $3,000 to $6,000 a month you were diverting from that account to fund your situation with the girl at the gas station will be calculated as marital waste. Bobby is going to request full restitution. Every word my dad said was a wrench tightening a bolt to the right torque. No wasted force, no drama, just pressure, constant, relentless. Derek looked at my dad, looked at Bobby, looked at me. Eyes red, not from crying, from desperation. The desperation of a man watching his entire life disassemble in real time and being unable to grab a single piece. And he said the most pathetic thing I have ever heard in my life. "Rachel, give me another chance. Another chance." I looked at him. The man who handed me a plate of brisket at a farmer's market, who held me in bed saying, "I missed you, babe," who showed up 2 days late to his son's birth with a crinkle-wrapped toy and a crooked bow, who tattooed strength and honor on his arm but had neither one, who slept with me on weekends and with Brittany during the week, who kept another woman's underwear under the seat where my son sat. Another chance. I stood up from the chair. Slowly. I felt my legs steady under me, my spine straight, and something I hadn't felt in 7 years. Not anger, not pain, clarity. The clarity of someone who has finally done the right calculation. The one I'd been getting wrong for 7 years. Derek. My voice came out steady. No tremor, no bitten cheek. For the first time in 7 years, I said something without biting my cheek. My son has a yellow dump truck he sleeps with every single night because he wants to grow up to be a trucker just like his dad. He loves you. He admires you. He counts down the days every week waiting for you to come home. And you kept another woman's underwear 50 centimeters from where he sits. Rachel? He started to stand. Reached his hand out toward me. That big hand, road-tanned, trembling. It's over. 1 sentence, 4 words. The cleanest sound I have ever made in my life. It's over. My dad moved, reached into his pocket, pulled out the Silverado key. The keychain with the Chevy rubber emblem Derek thought was so important. He pressed it into my hand, closed my fingers around it, held my hand in both of his. 1 second, 2, then let go. The truck belongs to my daughter. You can walk or call a ride. Your choice. Derek looked at my dad, at Bobby, at me. His eyes red, not from tears, from the kind of desperation that happens when a man watches the whole structure of his life collapse in one room. He said the most useless thing he had left. "Mr. Earl, you can't just—" "I can, and I did." My dad crossed his arms again, the stance of someone who doesn't move, who doesn't back down, who doesn't negotiate. Rachel has a new place. Noah has his room. The bags are already out. You're going to go back to that house on Timber Creek Drive, and you're going to find it empty. Because while you were in that truck cab with the girl from the gas station, I spent the week moving my daughter's life out. Derek stood still. Processing. I could see his eyes moving fast, side to side, doing the math he was never good at. House empty, wife gone, son gone, Silverado gone. Evidence on the table. Lawyer with a petition. Father-in-law with black eyes. Result, 0. "You can go, Derek. Door's right there." He got up slowly. The plastic chair creaked again, a long groan this time. He stood up, taller than everyone in that room, 6'1" over my dad, over Bobby, over me, and yet smaller, enormously smaller. Everything that had held him up from the inside had collapsed. All that architecture of bone and muscle and scruff and ink was useless when what it was built on was hollow. He looked at me one last time, eyes red, mouth trembling. And I searched inside myself for pity, and I didn't find it. What I found was relief, a profound, physical, bone-deep relief. The relief of someone who has finally set down a weight they'd been carrying on their back without even knowing it. "Noah," he said. his voice barely held together. "You'll see Noah every other Saturday. Pick up in the morning, return Sunday evening if the judge approves it. And the first thing Bobby is going to file is a parental fitness evaluation." I took one step forward, small, but firm. Keeping a girlfriend's underwear and lubricant in the seat where your son rides is not exactly a strong character reference. He dropped his chin to his chest, shoulders caved, and he walked to the door. Those slides dragging on the car wash concrete. That sound, that slow scraping drag, the sound of a man walking out of his own life. He stopped at the door without turning around. The purse. The purse stays with the attorney. If Brittany wants her ID back, she can come pick it up at the courthouse. He walked out of Earl's Auto Wash in his slides, on the same sidewalk where he used to park the Silverado like he owned the world. The same street where he walked in with wide shoulders and a wide grin. Big man, big presence. This time with no truck, no wife, no son, no purse, nothing. I stood in that office with the Silverado key in my hand, looking at the door he'd just gone through, waiting to feel something. Pain, longing, regret, something. What I felt instead was the smell of the coffee from the pot on the counter, the smell of car wash soap drifting in from the bays, and my dad's hand on my shoulder. Light, brief, almost imperceptible, but there. "Let's go, baby girl. Your new house is waiting." The divorce was finalized in March of 2025. 4 months, fast by any legal standard. Bobby worked with the precision of a surgeon. Every document in place, every piece of evidence introduced at exactly the right moment, every argument built like a brick wall, one layer at a time. Solid, plumb, no gaps. The evidence was overwhelming. The purse, photographed, cataloged, and sealed as Exhibit A. The 47 photos from Tommy with dates, times, and locations, each one telling a piece of the story Derek had tried to keep buried. The 3 videos. Kevin's sworn statement detailing exactly where and how the purse was found, in a vehicle registered in the plaintiff's name during a legitimate mechanical repair. The statement from Sandra, the neighbor on Timber Creek Drive, who my dad quietly asked to testify because she'd seen Derek leave early on Saturdays for runs and come home in the afternoon in different clothes. Derek's lawyer was a recent law school grad from out of town, cheap, and he tried the only strategy he had left: unlawful evidence. He argued the purse had been accessed without authorization, that the photos constituted harassment, that the PI's surveillance was stalking. Bobby took each argument apart, with the calm of someone removing an engine component they've replaced 100 times before. The purse was discovered by a third party in a vehicle financed by and registered to the petitioner during a legitimate mechanical service call. There was no breaking and entering, no interception of correspondence, no unauthorized access to a device. There was a finding of an object on the petitioner's own property. The subsequent investigation was conducted in public spaces by a licensed professional. There is no violation. The judge agreed. Ruling: sole custody of Noah granted to Rachel Ann Whitfield. Derek with supervised visitation on alternating weekends. Schedule defined. Child support, $800 per month. The Silverado stays with Rachel, financed and titled in her name. Marital waste restitution. The judge ordered Derek to repay $38,000 in funds diverted from the joint account, payable in 24 monthly installments. Derek walked out of that courtroom with his Kenworth T270 in his late father's name. Nothing else. No Silverado. No house. No wife. No son in his daily life. A $38,000 debt. $800 a month in support. And Brittany? Brittany found out everything from Derek. The same day as the car wash confrontation, he must have called her, desperate, telling her what happened, asking for something. I don't know what he told her, but I know what she said back, because the world is small, and Knoxville is smaller, and Tara did the hair of someone who knew Brittany's cousin, and stories travel. Brittany ended it with him the same day. You told me you were separated. The sentence every affair partner says when they find out they weren't the chosen one, they were the hidden one. The one kept under the seat, covered with a shop rag, next to the thong and the lubricant. The lie every cheater tells. I'm separated, just haven't filed yet. The oldest excuse in the book. Older than the Kenworth T270. Older than Route 62. Older than the betrayal itself. Today is 2025. I live on Maple Street, in the house my dad rented, the house my dad furnished, the house my dad built for me. Not with lumber and concrete, but with car washes. 94 wash jobs became 3 months' rent. 400 and something wash jobs became furniture, on a payment plan. My dad built my new home with water, soap, and time. 2 bedrooms, living room, kitchen, and a backyard where I planted a blueberry bush. Because my mom planted one at the old house. And a blueberry bush is a strong woman's inheritance, from a woman who waits, who takes years to produce fruit. But when she does, she gives so much you don't know what to do with it all. My blueberry bush is still tiny, a handspan of stem, 4 leaves. Looks fragile, but the roots are already set, already gripping, already getting ready to grow, just like me. Noah is 6 years old now, 1st grade at Jefferson Elementary. He still sleeps with the yellow dump truck every night. Arm wrapped around it, mouth soft open, hair across his face. And in the morning, first thing, vroom. Heading to Atlanta, Mama. Vroom. He still wants to be a trucker. I don't take that dream from him. Because the dream is his, not his father's. It didn't come from Derek. It came from Noah. From those bright eyes that light up every time a big rig rolls past on the highway. From that pure, clean joy that has nothing to do with betrayal, or lies, or a red purse. Noah's dream is clean. And I will protect that dream with everything I have. Derek sees Noah every other weekend, pick up Saturday morning, drop off Sunday evening. Noah comes back happy, tells me what they did, what they ate, where they went. And I listen. I smile. I never say anything negative about his dad, because Noah is not a battlefield, and children don't choose their parents. I drive the black Silverado to work every day. No more bus. No more 42 minutes each way. 15 minutes now, in air conditioning, with music on, and Noah in the back seat singing along, the yellow dump truck in his lap. Same back seat where a red purse was hidden for months. But now, under that seat, there's Noah's rain jacket, an open bag of crackers he won't let me throw away, and one flip-flop he insists on keeping back there. Kid stuff. Clean stuff. Stuff that doesn't need a shop rag to cover it up. Every Saturday I take the Silverado to Earl's Auto Wash. My dad washes it himself. Won't let Ray or Junior touch it, him personally. Pressure wand, soap, rinse, wax, hand dry, vacuum, air freshener. The Silverado comes out looking brand new. Dad, you don't have to do it yourself every single week. Yes, I do. My daughter's truck shines. That's how it is. My dad put up a small sign in the car wash office. Metal plaque, screwed to the wall behind the counter, near the photo of my mom, near the coffee maker, in the same spot where the red purse sat open on that November Saturday. The sign reads, "In this family, a man who doesn't do right gets junked." Ray laughs every time he reads it. 9 years working for Earl and it still gets him. Customers ask, "What's that about, Mr. Earl? Good story?" My dad doesn't explain, doesn't tell it, just smiles that sideways smile of his, the smile of a man who knows exactly what he did, who carries the whole story inside and doesn't need to share it with anybody, who would do it all again. Every call, every dollar, every car washed. Over and over. Tara cut my hair again last week at her salon. I sat in the chair. She put the cape on, picked up the scissors. Same thing, sis? Same. Short bob. Your fresh start style. She smiled. My real start style. I corrected her. She cut in silence. Scissors making that clean, sure sound of someone who knows what they're doing. Hair falling to the floor. And when she finished, I looked in the mirror, and I did not see the same woman who sat in that chair in 2023. That woman was running from something without knowing it, changing on the outside what she couldn't change on the inside, calling it a fresh start when it was just a haircut. The woman looking back at me now wasn't running. She was standing, upright, rooted. My mom died without seeing any of this. Rose Whitfield, gone in her sleep in 2017, no warning, no goodbye. She never saw the red purse, never saw the confrontation at the car wash, never saw the sign on the wall, never saw the new house, never saw the blueberry bush I planted, but she saw what mattered. She saw who my dad was, and she knew what he would do. That's why she left him the instructions before she went. Earl, take care of the girls, and when Rachel messes up, because she will mess up, she's stubborn. Don't you say I told you so. Just fix it. He never said I told you so. Not once. In 7 years. 7 years of quiet, 7 years of watching, 7 years of keeping the pressure wand off and waiting for the right moment. And when the moment came, he turned it on. And everything came clean. With a lawyer, with a PI, with a new house, with a set of keys, with a red patent leather purse on a car wash counter, and with one sentence. Stay right there, sweetheart. I'm gonna take care of that son of a bitch. And he did. I am Rachel Ann Whitfield. I am 30 years old. I am a financial assistant. I am Noah's mom. I am Earl's daughter. I am Tara's sister. I am the owner of a black Silverado that shines every Saturday. I am the owner of a house with a blueberry bush in the backyard. I am the owner of my own life. I'm good with numbers. Always have been. But the most important number in my life was never in a spreadsheet, never in a cash flow report, never in a bank reconciliation. It was under the seat of a truck. One purse, one ID, one bottle of lubricant, one thong, and 7 years of lies. The mechanic found it. The father fixed it. And the junkyard took what wasn't worth keeping. If you made it to the end of this, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for staying with me until the very last word. Thank you for every minute you gave to this woman who once bit the inside of her cheek to hold herself together, and who today speaks out loud for anyone who wants to hear. Now I'm asking you, if this story touched you, if at any point you saw yourself in it, or heard your mom, or your daughter, or your friend, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and tell me in the comments what time you're watching and what city you're in. I read every single comment. Every one. Because every comment is someone telling me, I heard you. And being heard, after so many years in silence, is the most powerful thing there is. There's a new story here on the channel every day. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it. Because no woman should have to sit alone biting her cheek to keep from breaking. Not one.